A time comes in your walk with God that God tells you to let Ishmael go because Ishmael and Isaac cannot cohabit in the same place. You may say, who is Ishmael? Ishmael is what you did in your flesh. Ishmael is what you did, your flesh led you to do, that God permitted. So the permissive will of God is Ishmael. Ishmael is your own desires, your own plans, the things that you plan to do that you did not consult God. And sometimes when you even consult God, you don't wait to hear what God would tell you to do. You do things according to your own will, according to your own plan, according to what you want to do. That's Ishmael, the works of the flesh, the things that we want to do, your personal will. That is Ishmael. And the time comes that God will say, let Ishmael go. You must let Ishmael go because Ishmael and Isaac cannot live in the same place. Who is Isaac? Isaac is the perfect will of God. Isaac is the one that God said he will make you into. That plan that God had for your life before you were born, that is Isaac, the perfect will of God. What God had in mind when he was forming you in your mother's womb, the desire of God for you, the perfect will of God, what God imagined when he was creating you in your mother's womb. That is the perfect will of God for your life, the desires of God, the plans of God, what God wants to make out of you. That is the perfect will of God. And a time comes when God will knock on your door and say, it is time for Ishmael to go. And it is hard for you because Ishmael came out of you. Ishmael is something that you birthed. So it is part of you. But God wants Ishmael to go for you to be inhabited by God, for you to be able to walk in the perfect will of God, for the perfect will of God to be unchallenged in your life, for it to flourish. You would have to let Ishmael go because Ishmael will mock Isaac. Ishmael will ridicule Isaac. Read it. When Sarah had Ishmael, when Sarah had Isaac, Ishmael mocked Isaac. So you have to kill Ishmael. Let Ishmael go out of your life to be able to be inhabited, to be able to walk in the perfect will of God, to come into that generational blessings, to come into that glory that God has called you to walk in. You see, David and Saul was a representation of Ishmael and Isaac. David was Isaac, Saul was Ishmael. Saul was the permissive will of God. So Saul fought David until Saul died. David could not be king. Let Ishmael die so Isaac can be king in you.